So this is another really old one, the Delta Ray. This has gone through, not my personal one, but the Delta Ray as a plane has gone through various things. I think they brought it back again. They have some new version of the Delta Ray they're selling now, I believe, which I haven't quite caught up with. And they had a version before this, I think. This is, I don't know. Hold your fingers. Yeah. I was a bit concerned because it didn't seem to have activated the stabilization and stuff, but I guess it doesn't till you spin it up. Now this guy has two engines which have differential thrust, which can act instead of a rudder. There is no rudder, and then he's got elevons, I guess you'd call them, on both wings, and that's it. They serve as elevators and ailerons. As I say, he's old. I haven't flown him for a while. He's been crashed quite a few times and repaired, so he's not in the best of shape. I'm not entirely sure how functional he could be said to be, but we'll see. He used to be kind of fun to fly, but yeah, famous last words. Yes, he may decline to run on the grass. That's the problem. He's got rather small wheels. Oh God, yes, especially his front wheel is extremely small, and I don't have a runner. Whoa. Well, we lumbered him into the air there, but he wasn't very keen, was he? Are these brushed motors? They may be. That may be partially where the problem is, that they're brushed motors and they're kind of on the way out, because it is an old plane. He lumbered into the air there with a push. Well, the problem is the back wheel especially. I'm sorry, I'm just going to seat that hat again a bit. The back wheel especially the front wheel, I beg your pardon, especially is very small, so it doesn't much want to run on the grass. It gets stuck in the grass. So, I mean, I don't know. I suppose that sun is really kind of annoying now, bright on the horizon there.
Time remaining 6 minutes. Intermediate mode.
So, yeah, this guy is an early safe plane. I think maybe the very first version of him didn't have safe at all. Whoa! Yeah, he's not handling this wind too well. A good part of that was just the wind blowing him around. He doesn't have much power. I think, I can barely loop him because, sorry, I beg your pardon, but the sun, I don't want to be in that sun there. If I fly right into that sun, I'm just going to blind myself entirely. I can barely fly this guy upwind when the wind gusts here. He barely has enough. When the gusts come up, his motors barely have enough power to push him into the wind. He's,
Time remaining 5 minutes.
I think these are probably, I don't remember, but I'm thinking these are probably brushed. He's powered by 2 cells. Got a new battery in, the one I just bought. The battery I bought with the Moa 1300 2-cell, which is pretty much what they recommend for him. I think I bought him in the days when they had Biden fly things. They actually gave you a battery with, and I think it was an 1100 2-cell they gave you with him, with a ES2 connector. But he's a bit on the rocky side now. The wind, he doesn't like the wind much, and the motors are not very strong. You can sort of control him, but that's full throttle. Yeah, he really is not particular. I'm trying to avoid flying this way because I'm trying to avoid the sun. He's really not got much power left now. I think that's the point. This is the problem with brushed motors. Their lifespan seems to be sort of, that's the nice thing about brushless. Brushless keep up their power much better. Brushed motors, their lifespan seems to be somewhat limited, and this plane is, ooh, I don't know when I bought him, quite a few years ago. A few years ago, and he's been whacked. I remember I whacked him into a tree at the other field once, tried to turn him round and he wouldn't turn in the wind. The wind was too much wind for me to turn him. And he doesn't have the tightest with no rudder. He's got that differential thrust, but he doesn't turn super powerfully. And I whacked it. I couldn't turn him short of the trees. He wasn't high enough to avoid the trees. There's some high trees there. And he really barely has enough power to go upwind at all here. I'm going to be lazy again, I think, and put him back into stabilized mode. Even in stabilized mode he gets blown around by the wind quite a bit here, but wind is still blowing him around, but he stabilizes himself rather than me having to do it all when he's in this mode. God, I'm going somewhat towards the sun there because I want to land that way. When he touches down, he's not going to roll much on the ground because, oh, famous last words, he bounced a bit, but other than bouncing, he's not going to roll much because because that front wheel basically won't roll on the grass. Yes, he's had a piece put back in his elevon there, and the whole nose was broken off at one point, I believe, and there's a big steel ball inside the nose. The nose broke right off. Fortunately, I didn't lose the big steel ball, you know, for weight balance. I didn't put it in. It's inside there. It's like a steel gobstopper or whatever inside there. I mean, you wouldn't know unless you broke it, but I did. I broke the nose right off, and I saw that steel ball in there. They're the only controls. See, up, down, right, left ailerons, and then your rudder comes from your differential thrust on your motors. Well, he still works, sort of, but his motors are a bit wimped out, I think. Yeah, see, they're brushed motor. I can see that in there. That's a brushed motor with a heat sink on it. The Delta Firebird Delta Ray safe, not the current version of the Delta Ray they're selling, but not the very first version they sold either, I don't think. There you go.